Welcome to another episode of Share It with Ishani. And today we have Benjamin Fincher from the United States, and he's a Live Your Dream coach, which is pretty interesting. So let us straight away go to Benjamin. Hi, Benjamin. How are you doing? And welcome to my show.
Doing well. How are you, Ishani?
I'm doing great as well. So you are a Live Your
Excellent.
Dream coach, which is pretty interesting, man. I mean, what? How did you start your journey? How did you decide that you're going to be Live Your Dream coach?
So, I wasn't always thinking of being a live your dream coach. I mean, growing up, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to help people, but I didn't know how I wanted to do that. I was like, well, I enjoy helping people. I want to do that for my career. I don't want to sit in an office all day. I don't want to be a doctor. And besides that, I don't know. And, when I was like 17 years old, I took this class. I was homeschooled, all growing up. So taught in the house. And when I was 17 years old, I took this online class that was a personal leadership class. And the
Okay.
guy teaching it was living in Costa Rica at the time. I'm in Utah. And I was just like, wait a second, this guy's like living in a different country. Like he's from the States, and he's living in a different country. Whoa, that's crazy. And then, the more I learned about it, he's doing that because of, he's teaching people how to live a better life. And I'm like, you can make a living off of that? Whoa. But then I kind of crashed on that dream I had and said, well, you probably have to have some college education or some degree or, blah, blah, blah. And I just like threw it under the rug. Until a year later, I came across another guy who just up and did it. And, he started from literally nothing. And I was just like, wait a second, if this guy can do it, he's doing worse off than me. I'm not even an adult yet. I'm barely an adult. Okay, I think I could do this. And so that got me, thinking, okay, maybe I could do this coaching thing, this mentoring thing. And so I kind of had that in mind. And then I started taking steps towards it, going to seminars, reading books, working with people and figuring out, okay, what is it I need to do to get myself in that place where I can be helping people. And, I worked on that for a couple of years. And then in January of 2019, I actually registered and started up my business, Starlight Mentoring. And that's where, I saw a little bit of success and then got scared again and went and got another job. And then near the end of that year, I was like, I did it again. Okay, we're going business. Let's go business. Come on, let's focus here. And I started doing a little bit more. But that was also the time I met my wife.
Okay.
So my priorities shifted heavily there and started dating her very seriously. And then I was like, okay, I got to be earning money. I can't just be dating. I was like, okay, let's focus here again. And so it was like, okay, come on, Benjamin. Come on, like dragging me by the hair. Just like, come on, come back, focus. Focus. You want to do this. You want to do this. Let's do this. And, again, saw a little bit of success and, kind of dropped off again. And then we got married and it was like, oh, I need income now. Like, I can't just be like kind of doing this business thing. And so I went and got another job. And then I was like, I don't want to be working this warehouse job. I'm not fulfilled by this. I got to be working as a mentor. And so then I was like, okay, let's take this other class. And, that helped. And it was part of a mastermind group. I'm like, okay, let's focus again. And came back and I'm like, okay, we're going now. And, I saw more success than I had seen previously. And so I'm like, sweet. And then the bills started piling up and I was like, like, okay, let's go help this friend renovate this house he's doing. He's going to pay me. Okay, business. It's not coming together again. And I got to go get another job. And then that's kind of bringing it back to today. I'm working as a stained glass artisan at the moment, and
Okay.
also working as a live your dream coach. So it's balancing,
Uh,
having that income to support my family while living my dream of helping other people live their dream. So that's
wow.
kind of the little bit more detailed, but also still condensed version of how I decided to become a live your dream coach. Is, like I said, I
And
didn't know at the beginning what I wanted to do. And through the journey, it was like, okay, yeah, I want to help people to be able to live their dream. And that's where I'm today.
yeah, and we really needed to know the entire story, because unless you had told us like how you started, because most of us go through the same patterns, we think about something, then we deviate off that field, then again get back, then again deviate, then finally we need to find that balancing part where we can balance, like if you can completely shift and live your dream, nothing like it, but if you can live your dream and also do another, like something that like used to support your family, then also I believe it is a good way to live your life. What do you say?
Yeah, especially as you're starting out. I mean, I've been in the boat for way too long of, no, it has to be what I want to do right now. Like I can't be doing something else. And
Hmm.
there's a little bit of truth to that, but it comes down to, okay, if you've got a family and you want to support them, which, for me, that's true. It's like, okay, I got to make sure that not only am I working on my dreams, but that I'm also supporting us in the meantime. And so it means a lot more time spent working at, the job I have. And then as soon as I come home, boom, I'm on as a live your dream coach. I'm, working on my
Yeah.
mindset. I'm working on being on podcasts. I'm working on helping clients. I'm working on, all these things that, other people, they get home and they turn on Netflix. It's like, well, I'm done for the day. Lean back and it's like, all right.
Actually.
I'm like, no, I gotta keep moving. I got to be very intentional and purposeful and persistent with this.
Absolutely. This is really a powerful thing that you have just mentioned right now. I mean, a lot of us just waste time watching Netflix or Amazon Prime videos, but but
Yep.
living your dream has to have that consistency that is required of us to achieve something in life. So,
Yeah.
Benjamin, tell me that how would you define a dream? Because my I had so many dreams since my childhood days, and dreams kept changing. In the beginning, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was in class second or third. Then I wanted to be a singer. Then as I grew up, I wanted to be a bureaucrat. So my dreams kept changing. But now, uh, the things that I have been doing, it is something I feel is my calling. I really enjoy doing podcasting, and I am a radio anchor by profession, so I really love all these things, and also a public speaking coach. So so how would you
Well,
define a dream?
so that's a very good question, because other podcasts I've been on that have assumed that I'm talking about, you're sleeping and you have a dream and how do you live that dream? I'm like, not quite. Those are really good. That's not where I focus. So for me, a dream is, and this is the way I like to describe it. You kind of have that ethereal cloud of, a want or a desire that's hanging around you. And sometimes it's over there in the corner, other times it's going right around your head and it's engulfing you. You're like, whoa, I want to do this. This is really cool. And if you don't take action, then it drifts away again. And then it circles back around. You're just like, oh yeah. And like you're mentioning, sometimes our dreams drift away, maybe forever, or maybe they're just far enough away we don't notice them at the moment.
Mhm.
I had that same dream being an astronaut as a kid. And especially with all the recent developments. I mean, you got SpaceX, Virgin or Blue Origin, Virgin Sky, or whatever that one's called, and all
Yes.
these different ones. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could still live that dream. And the more I learn about it, maybe I won't be an astronaut, but I could at least be a space traveler if you wanted to get into the technicalities. um, you know, who, well, there's probably plenty of people, but who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Super cool. But so that dream is that thing that's floating around you, and until you like condense it down into a jar, as it were, it's just floating around. And so
Hmm.
I'd like to talk about, okay, you take that dream, you condense it down into this like vision, maybe a yoga ball sized vision,
Hmm.
and or an exercise ball sized vision. And at that point, you're like, okay, I've got this vision now. Now it's condensing, it's getting clearer, it's taking on more of a form instead of just being this cloud type thing. Um, and, there's also the way to look at it as a seed. So, there's kind of those
Yeah.
two ways you can look at it: is it's either this cloud thing or it's a seed. And, maybe the seed's just drifting around flying in the air, and sometimes it falls and it starts growing, and other times you're like, I couldn't work with this. And that's what I did, like I explained there at the beginning, is for that first year, I was like, oh yeah, this would be super cool, but I probably can't. And so I wasn't watering it. I was just leaving it out in the sun to bake. I was not being good to that seed until a year
Yeah.
later. It was like, oh, this guy did it. And this is a lot of evidence that I could do it as well. Okay, let's start watering this seed.
Hmm. Yeah, even the seed analogy is pretty cool. It is somewhere sown, but we have not done anything to help it grow. So that growth process
Mhm.
has not started yet, or it has started and it has just stopped in between. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, when you talk about growing a seed, you sometimes find analogies where it's like, well, it fell in good fertile soil, or maybe it fell on the rocks, or maybe it fell among the thorns and weeds, or maybe it fell on the
Oh.
road and got eaten by the birds. Hopefully, you're getting that first one where it falls in the good fertile soil. But do we allow ourselves that? Do we allow ourselves to be that type of a person? And really, what I've found is it comes down to being humble. Are we humble enough to allow something good to grow within us? Be it our mind, be it our heart, be it both. Are
Yeah.
we humble enough to allow it to grow? Or are we prideful, saying, no, I can't do that, and disregarding our capabilities?
Hmm.
Which of those options are you choosing? Are you choosing to allow it or to force it to not?
Yeah. I feel that most of the time we realize these things, that we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We are just procrastinating, or we are just being lazy, and we need to do these things in order to achieve something, but we still don't do because of these distractions out there.
Yep.
So yeah.
And boy, howdy, ain't the world full of them distractions.
Yeah, so I would say, considering that seed analogy, there are so many outgrowths, or jungles, weeds that have grown across the seed that we have, and it has hidden it somewhere, and we don't know how to find it or where to find it, or even if we know, we are not doing that work to remove those weeds and find that seed and take care of it.
And I really like how you're pulling it that way, because, with that analogy, eating those weeds, it's those bad habits that we have, or just maybe not even bad habits, but like neutral habits, or only good habits, where, maybe you need great habits for this
Mm.
dream to happen. I mean, I heard once the story of a farmer, And his son is out helping him in his field, and his son's like, "Hey, Dad, over here, there's a giant potato," and he's like, "That's where the corn goes this year, son. This year, that's a weed." And it's like, whoa, isn't that a different way to think about it? Because
Yes.
the year previous, that's where the potatoes were growing, but with rotating the crops, this year it was a weed because that's where the corn goes. And so
Yeah.
maybe you're trying to plant, you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe you're trying to plant mango trees now and you had corn there previous, or you had rice there previous. I don't know if that would work because rice grows in a very particular place, but whatever it is, and maybe you're needing to replace that good thing with something great or best. And I'm sure all of us have some level of negative habits as well. Kind of comes with being human.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Nobody is perfect as it goes.
it's like, what are you willing to clear out to allow this to grow?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have some common habits as well, like watching Netflix, or even though we want to do, but just wanting to know what is going to happen in the next episode in that web series.
Pulling out your phone, ignoring the person in front of you.
Exactly.
And a lot of it comes to awareness.
Yeah,
If you're
awareness.
blind to your bad habits, no way
Mhm.
you're going to change it.
Awareness is one thing, and then taking some action based on that awareness is also a step ahead of that. Some people are not even aware that they automatically get into that flow of the daily routine, or the daily flow of just checking the phone, watching the Netflix on autopilot.
Yep.
Yeah, and
And we just live the same routine without even ever giving
yeah.
it thoughts. Like, wake up, go to work, come home, do whatever, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, do whatever. And for me, I'm just like, that sounds so dull and boring. And I've done it. But when I take the time to sit down and actually think, I'm like, why am I doing this? This is not fulfilling. I want to be making a difference for myself and for the people around me. I gotta be doing something different.
That is so true. Now that we know that these are the things going on with us, with almost each one of us, why is that we all are in that same way, and how to solve this problem? I mean, like how to achieve our dreams so that we are thinking straight and we take those steps to achieve those dreams.
Yeah, so let me make sure I understand the question. So you're asking how to, stop those things that are preventing you from living your dream and change that into living your dream.
Yeah.
So, like we've just been talking about, well, one of the very first things you need to do is have that awareness. Before that, though, you need to have the desire to live your dream.
Hmm.
If you don't have a desire, you're not going to take any action.
Hmm.
Why would you? There's no reason to.
Yeah.
You know, maybe intellectually you're just like, oh, that'd be a good idea. But if you don't actually have any internal drive, any internal desire pulling you towards it, you're not going to do anything. You're going to keep doing the same old, same old.
Yeah.
Now, the thing there is we often bury our desires or allow them to be buried.
Yeah.
People come along in our lives, and maybe it's our parents, maybe it's our siblings, maybe it's other relatives, maybe it's friends, maybe it's coworkers, maybe it's the job, whatever it is. Unless we've been very purposeful with how we approach life, almost certainly we've had a lot of junk piled on top of us, where it's like, oh, I have to be to work, I have to help, you know not just my immediate family, but my whole extended family. I have to, go be there with my friends. I have to, well, these are good things like I've just been mentioning.
Yeah.
But is it the best thing for
Mm-mm.
you? Sometimes we need to clear that away while still recognizing what's important to us. For me, the other day, I decided to decline hanging out with friends for a while because, this was not like I'm never hanging out with you guys again. It was just a no, tonight I'm not doing that. And, my wife still hung out with them. It was like a Zoom call or something. But for me, it was just like, not tonight. It's not saying, hey, I'm never wanting to be friends with you. It's just, no, just not tonight. And I was focused more on what I wanted to do. Some of it was towards building my dreams. Some of it was just towards doing my own leisure. And, you carefully discern and say, okay, what is actually still important to me to do while I'm building my dream, while I'm actually figuring out what is my desires. But, if it's not important to you, then you can really just set it off to the side and be like, okay, you're sitting over here. I'll see if I get back to you. And maybe one of those things is going to job, but while you need to still make sure you're going, but you don't necessarily have to have it as strong a desire. And so you clear away those things that have been, like I said, thrown on top of you, whether you've been willing or not. Oftentimes we don't know how to reject those things. We just, oh, okay. Oh, I'm doing this. No, what? Okay, yeah. Well, just, we get buried. And then we're like, that starts happening when we're a kid. And then we're just like, wait, what did I actually want to do? I wanted to be an astronaut? No, that's not realistic. Isn't that what you're always told if you ever talk to anyone? They're just like, well, you could maybe, but you have to do all this hard work and kind of unrealistic. I mean, there's so few astronauts, it's kind of unrealistic. Did the astronauts that have gone up to space listen to those people? No. They followed their dream.
Yeah. And they just did whatever it took them, whatever it was required of them. And I believe they did that. That is why they are there.
Right. And so the first thing there is to take that desire. And then you start coupling that with persistence in working towards it. And you throw some faith in there, you throw some positive self-talk in there, a handful of other things. And like I said, awareness does play into that, being aware of what you're doing you need to not be doing, being aware of what you're doing you want to keep doing, being aware of what you're not doing that you need to be doing. And sometimes you need someone else to point that out to you because you don't know. And so maybe you're like, hey, let's say you want to be a Olympic gold medalist. Well, you're not going to go ask Joe down the street. You're going to go ask Peter Vidmar, an Olympic gold medalist, hey, how do I do this? And they're going to be like, hey, okay, either I can train you, or here's some trainers, or here's at least some steps to get started. Mm-hmm. You talk to somebody that has been there, or you talk to people until you find out someone who knows how to get there. Because, maybe you don't know who the heck Peter Vidmar is. His day was back in the 80s or something like that. Great guy. I met him, funny. He did excellent when he was in the Olympics. But maybe you never even heard of him.
I haven't. And I'm not that much into sports either.
Right. I hadn't heard of him before I met him. So, there's that. But whatever your dream is, you start learning more about it. You pull up Google and you go to Wikipedia, or you find other articles, or you go to the library, or you get on Facebook and start joining groups that talk about it, or, whatever these things are. And then you start finding people that know what they're talking about. Boys, there are a lot out there, and there's a lot of people like, oh yeah, do this, that'll work, or do this other thing. And very conflicting advice. That's where you find someone that has been there themselves, or that you recognize knows how to get there. Then you start talking to them. You're like, okay, what do I need to do? and there's certainly a large extent you can cover being self-taught. But without that support, it becomes really hard to keep that persistence. And maybe your support looks like, maybe you're married and it's your spouse, or maybe, maybe it's your friend or some other family member, or maybe even a coworker. And you're like, hey, I'm working towards this. Can you keep me accountable?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the key steps for persistence, is having someone to have accountability.
Very
If you
true.
don't have that, then you're on your own steam and you're going for a while. And I've done this before. I mean, I had this morning routine beautifully made up. I spent a while editing that document and printing it out, and it looked great. And I was like, okay, wake up. First thing, okay, I did that, check. Next thing, I did that, check. It was great. I loved it. But then my steam ran out and I had no one keeping me accountable. And I was like, the next day I was like, I didn't do those ones, but I did that one. Check and check. It's a lot of not checked boxes. Okay. Or if I'd had someone I was being accountable to, I would have gone a lot further, if not still been going today. So,
yeah.
You can get far on your own steam. There's the saying, if you want to go fast, go solo. If you want to go far, go with someone.
Yeah.
So I think that very much applies into living your dream as well, is you need to have
Yeah.
someone helping you, supporting you, motivating you, reminding you of what you actually are desiring.
Yeah,
So
that
does
was,
that help answer that question you had?
yeah, actually, to summarize that, the first thing is you should have that driving force or that desire from within you to achieve your dreams and goals. The second one was persistence, right?
Yep.
Then, what was it?
Then they start kind of be on an even field, but you have like faith and then positive self-talk.
um, yes. And then fourth one is having a support system, and fifth one, I would say accountability partner or partners. So 5 things you have mentioned. I hope I'm not missing out anything else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a list of 20, but those are
Oh,
good for
okay.
5.
But I would
Maybe it's
say
only
these are 5.
15, but it's a handful. You can handle that.
Yes. And I would say these are the core principles. And if we can at least master these first 5, then we can think about going to the others.
Yeah. And a lot of the other ones you pick up along the way. And it just comes naturally. If you've got that desire coupled with the persistence, moving you for the desire is moving you forward and the persistence is keeping you going, you're going to pick up most of the rest of it along the way, especially if you've got that somebody keeping you motivated and somebody teaching you what you don't know.
Yeah.
If you've got all that, there's more you're going to learn, but not necessarily more you have to learn up front.
So this was really, really, really valuable. So first 5 core principles to start with in order to achieve any dream.
The key principle, like you're just asking, I sent that question ahead of time, that guarantees, achieving your dream,
Yeah.
is having that desire.
Mhm.
That's, I use this finger. That's the number one.
Number 1.
That's
Okay.
number one is desire. Because like I said, if you don't have that desire, you can do anything. I mean, you can have a couch potato person. They're still going to get up and eat. They're still going to get up and use the restroom. They don't have a lack of desire for those things. They just haven't become clear on what they want besides that. Whereas compare that person to a sick person. Maybe that sick person's in the exact same spot. They're on the couch
Mhm.
watching shows, but that person that's sick isn't eating. They don't have a desire to eat because they're not feeling good. They still go up and go to the bathroom, but they're not eating. Whereas that couch potato person is eating. It's not a laziness issue necessarily. It's a desire issue.
Wow, that was a really great
Because,
way of explaining.
yeah, because, that person that's a couch potato, if they actually had something like a fire lit under them that they're like, oh, I want to get this. Boom! All of a sudden they're on fire. They're moving towards it. And you'd never see them on the couch with a sack of potato chips again because holy cow, they have no time to waste. They are on.
Anything else that you would want to share with my audience?
Yeah, I mean, I could keep talking for another 5 hours, but to keep this concise, let me just think for a quick second if there's anything else to add here. I think one of the most important things to add right now is just remember it's possible. It's being proven time and time again. You had the Wright brothers think, hey, what if we had a flying machine? What if man could fly? Boom. All of a sudden I can travel the world. And it's not a arduous month-long journey to get from Utah to India. Now you can fly and be there in less than 2 days, even with layovers. Okay, that's awesome. People were telling them all the time there, hey, this is impossible, man, we'll never fly. They're like, well, let's see if that's actually true or not. And boom, airplanes. And so many more examples. Thomas Edison, light bulb, Henry Ford, and the horseless carriage. Marconi and this thing that would transmit information, the radio. What was the other guy? Philo T. Farnsworth made the television. All these inventors, they were told no countless times as they were figuring it out. Okay. And they
Yeah.
figured it out.
If not for them, we wouldn't have been on this podcast today in this.
Right.
I wouldn't have known that there is a country called the United States and there how the people there are, what language they speak.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have known in the East. And same goes for you. We wouldn't have known what is there in the East if not for them.
Right. We would have just been relying on books, which, without airplanes would have been a lot harder bind to be in circulation.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe
photographs. Earlier, they used to draw paintings or sketches. So we had to rely on the paintings to know, okay, how the people in this part of the world look like and how the people in this part of the world look like.
yeah. And maybe you're not inventing some new thing that's going to help all of mankind, like a lot of these examples we just listed. But maybe you're coming up, and maybe call it inventing or call it dreaming or call it whatever you will. You're creating a new reality with your dream. You're saying,
Yeah.
hey, this ethereal cloud or this seed, I want to see what that looks like taking shape here on Earth. Because these are like, spiritual ideas. Not to get religious, but these are spiritual ideas. There's things that we cannot see except in our mind's eye. And from there, we can do the work necessary and have it form in front of us, to have it manifest, if you will, in front
Yeah.
of us. And it's possible. I mean, I've got a vision board and I've had over 50 successes with it. So, this is very, very possible. Not all of those have been directly connected to my dream either. But it just goes to show this is very possible. And I think that would be the thing I want to kind of have be the final thought there for your listeners. is, we talked all about the processes and how it all works, but to bring it back very down to earth and real, it's like, you can do this. It does take work, but it's very possible and you can do it.
Yes. Thanks so much for these powerful words. So you also
You're
work
welcome.
with your clients, right? And you're helping them achieve their dreams. So this is pretty amazing. So you also help them build their vision boards or something.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I help my clients to be able to hone in what they actually desire and what their dream looks like. And then, once they've got that, I help them to kind of figure out, okay, what's in the road of you getting there? Help them remove those things, help them couple, like I said, that persistence with their desire. And then I'm that third wheel, if you will, out of those two, because, if you just have two, it's kind of hard. If you have three, you can now balance and help move them forward and say, okay, turn here, turn there, go this fast, go this, and all these things to where all of a sudden they're achieving their dream. And they didn't necessarily know before that they even could. They're just like, well, I've got this idea, or, I kind of sort of hope I could maybe someday do this. And I'm like, let's cut out all that maybe. Let's just get down to it. You can do this. You need to figure out what you want to do, and let's go do it. And so, that's what I do with my clients is I help them get clear and get moving and get to where they want to be.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So thank you so much, Benjamin, for being on my show. It was such a great pleasure and sharing your knowledge with my viewers. It was really, really amazing. And although the vision board thing I know about, but I have never done this before. Today, I'm going to do that. I'm going to draw my
Awesome.
own vision board and write down all my dreams and goals on it.
Yeah, I mean, literally just get yourself some painter's tape, make a rectangle on your wall, and, stick something up there. Boom,
Yeah.
you've got a vision board. Maybe it's not pretty, but it's getting started. And later down the line, when you're thinking about it constantly because it's on your wall already, then you can get that fancy cork board.
Yeah.
Start with painter's tape.
Thanks a lot for this advice. And I'm definitely going to follow this. And I'm going to do this right now after this podcast ends. All
Awesome.
right. So I know Benjamin has a special gift for all of you. So I'll let him talk and share his free gift for you. Please go ahead, Benjamin.
Yeah. So I did want to offer a free gift to your listeners, just as a thank you for them, spending the time out of their day to listen to us here. You've got many other guests you have, so to listen to this episode in particular with me. So I want to offer some Live Your Dream sessions. They're 30 minutes long. And in these sessions, we hone in and help you figure out, what is your dream? We get very clear on that. And then once we're clear on that, we say, I keep saying we, but that's, the person working with me
Yeah.
in this 30-minute session and me. So, I help you to figure this stuff out. And after we figure out, okay, what is your dream? It's like, okay, what challenges are keeping you from achieving this? And then at that point, it's like, okay, how do we work past that? And at the end of it, you end up feeling renewed and re-energized and recommitted to achieving your dream. And I've only got 7 guaranteed spots with that on my schedule right now for your listeners. So, for those listening, they're like, oh, I want that. Be sure to reach out quick so you get one of those 7 guaranteed spots. You can email me at benjamin@starlightmentoring.com and just mention the share it with Ashani
Share it with the Shani.
show.
Yeah.
Share it with Ashani and just be like, hey, heard John share it with Ashani. I'd be like, sweet, let's get to your free session. And we'll hash out the details of when that'll happen and make sure you've got that one of those 7 guaranteed spots on my schedule.
Wow, thanks a lot, Benjamin. It's really awesome, really cool, and definitely go ahead and grab the spot before it gets booked. All slots get over. And thank you so much for being on my show. Hope to see you soon, talk to you again in my next season, because this is going to be my last episode of the first season. And it was such a great season. I really enjoyed talking to so many guests, including yourself. So
Thanks. And congratulations on getting to the seasons in. Like we mentioned, I've got my own podcast and it's a lot of work. So that's really
yeah,
awesome. Congratulations.
thank you so much. So signing off from Share It with Ishani, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.